බුද්ධාය ගරුතර මහා සංඝරත්නයන් අවසරයි අද දින සිඩ්නි මහමෙවුනාව භාවනා අසපුවෙහි අභිනවයේ නිදිකල ద్వාර මණ්ඩපය ආරක්ෂිත වැට සහ සෝලපව ව්‍යාපෘතිය විවෘත කිරීමේ පුණ්‍ය උත්සවය සඳහා මේ මොහොතේ පැමිණි ෆෙඩරල් MP ජූලියා ලීස මැතිතුමා පිළිගැනීම සිදු කරනු ලබනවා. ඒ සඳහා අප අසපුවෙහි දහම් පාසලේ සිසුවියන් උදානම් සිටිනවා.
Namo Buddhaya. We have gathered here today at the Sydney Mahameonava Buddhist Monastery to celebrate the opening of the security fence and solar power project. Firstly, we would like to welcome Federal MP Mr. Julian Lesser, who will be greeted by two students from the Sydney Mahameonava Buddhist Monastery Sunday School.
මීළඟට ඇත්තේ සංකනාද සහ මගුල් බෙර වාදන මැද්දේ ජූලියා ලීස මැතිතුමා විසින් අභිනවයේ නිදිකල ద్వාර මණ්ඩපය විවෘත කිරීමයි.
Now we will hear the playing of traditional drums. The drums have an important cultural significance and is played during momentous events. While the drums are being played, Mr. Julian Lesser will officially open the security fence. ඊළඟට ඇත්තේ සංකනාද සහ මගුල් බෙර වාදන මැද්දේ රජ එසවීම. ඒ සඳහා පිතා ගෞරවයෙන් ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා. බෞද්ධ රජ එසවීම සඳහා විදේශ මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපු සංචිතයන්හි සභාපති තැන්පත් මෙල්බන් මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුවේ ගරු අනුශාසක අපගේ පින්වත් කැකිරාවේ බෝධිධම්ම ස්වාමින් වහන්සේට ඕස්ට්‍රේලියානු රජ එසවීම සඳහා ෆෙඩරල් MP ජූලියන් ලීස මැතිතුමාට ශ්‍රී ලංකා දජය එසවීම සඳහා සිඩ්නි මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුවේ උපස්ථාන කමිටුවේ සමාජික සුනිල් දිසානායක එතුමාට මහමෙවුනා දජය එසවීම සඳහා සිඩ්නි මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුවේ උපස්ථාන කමිටුවේ ලේකම් නන්දික කොඩිතුවක්කු මැතිතුමාට. Once again, we will hear traditional drums being played while we witness the raising of 4 flags. Firstly, the Buddhist flag will be raised by the President of the Administration Committee of the Mahameonava Overseas Branches and Chief Monk of the Melbourne Mahameonava Buddhist Monastery, the Most Venerable Bodhidhamma Swamin Wahanse. Secondly, the Australian flag will be raised by Federal MP for Barara, Mr. Julian Lesser. The Sri Lankan flag will be raised by Mr. Sunil Dissanayake, Committee Member of the Sydney Mahameonava Buddhist Monastery. And finally, the 4th flag, the Mahameonava Monastery flag, will be raised by Secretary of the Sydney Mahameonava Buddhist Monastery, Nandika Kodituaku.
Lancer and all others for raising the flags. That brings us to the conclusion of the first part of today's ceremony. Thank you everybody for participating in the opening of the security fence. If we could all make our way down to the main building for the opening of the solar energy project. As per COVID-19 regulations of the New South Wales Government, please ensure that you follow the recommendations and have checked in with the provided QR code if you haven't already done so. There will be more QR codes available near the main building. Teruwan saranai.
සිහිනයක අලුපෑ දියත පුරා නිමානොවන බව දුකතර නොමින සරා එම්බා මහණෙනී බුදු පදවිදරා වැතිරුවේද රැසහිමි සිරුර අරා සතුන් වටගනඳුරු මැකුවාද නේරංජාව මත තෙලිතොඩ තැබුවාද නිවසන ගගන තරු මල් හැර දැමුවාද සවනක් රැසට අවසන ඉඩ සැදුවාද වපුරාලුවට හිමි දෙසුදම් රසය වයා පතුරානයන හිමි තෙමකුල දුටුවනියා සතුරා විලස ආමේඝය මගෙර පියා ඉඳුරා කියව මගේ හිමිරුව කෙලෙස කියා සම්මාසීනයක අලුපෑ දියත පුරා නිම්මානොවන දුකතර නොමිල සරා එම්බාමානනේකේ බුදු පදවිදරා පෙම්පා වැතිරුවෙත රැසහිමි සිරුල අරා
උත්සව සභාවේ කටයුතු ආරම්භ කිරීමටයි දැන් අපි සූදානම් වී සිටින්නේ. ප්‍රථමයෙන්ම පැමිණ සිටින පිරිස තිසරණ සහිත පංචශීලයේ සමාදන් කරවීම සඳහා විදේශ මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපු සංජිතයන්හි ගරු සභාපති තැන්පත් මෙල්බන් මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුෙහි ගරු අනුශාසක අපගේ පින්වත් කැකිරාවේ බෝධිධම්ම ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේට පාද නමස්කාර පූර්වකව ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා. ඔබ වාඩි වී සිටින ආසන වලින් නැගී සිටින ලෙස ඉතා කාරුණිකව ඉල්ලා සිටිනවා.
නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහත් සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි බුද්ධං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි ဒုတိယံ පි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි တတိယံ පි බුද්ධං ධම්මං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි တတိယံ පි සංඝං සරණං ගච්ඡාමි සාදු සාදු සතුන් මෙරීමෙන් වැළකීම නම් වූ සිල්පදය සමාදන් වෙමි සොරකම් කිරීමෙන් වැළකීම නම් වූ සිල්පදය සමාදන් වෙමි වැරදි කාම සේවනයෙන් වැළකීම නම් වූ සිල්පදය සමාදන් වෙමි බොරු කීමෙන් වැළකීම නම් වූ සිල්පදය සමාදන් වෙමි මත්පැන් හා මද්ද්‍රව්‍ය භාවිතයෙන් වැළකීම නම් වූ උපකාර වෙත්වා සාදු සාදු සාදු
දංකරව අපගේ පින්වත් ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේට පාද නමස්කාර පූර්වක පුණ්‍ය ආනුමෝදනා සිදු කර සිටිනවා. මිළඟට මා සූදානම් වන්නේ පිළිගැනීමේ කතාව සිදු කිරීමට වැඩම වදාළ ගරුතර මහා සංඝරත්නයන් අවසරයි Federal MP Julia Lisa මැතිතුමනි, State Member Horsbury Robin Whitson මැතිණියනි, සිඩ්නි නුවර ශ්‍රී ලංකා කොන්සල් ජෙනරල් තුමන් ඇතුළු සම්භාවනීය අමුත්තනි, හිතවතුනි. අද දින සිඩ්නි මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුවෙහි ඕස්ට්‍රේලියානු රජයේ ආධාර වලින් නිදි කරන ලද පිවිසුම් දාරය ආරක්ෂිත වැට සහ සෝල පද්ධතිය විවෘත කිරීමේ උත්සවයටයි ඔබ අප සියලු දෙනාම සම්බන්ධ වී සිටින්නේ. මෙම උත්සවය සඳහා වැඩමවා වදාළ විදේශ මහමෙවුනා අසපු සංචිතයන්හි සභාපති තැන්පත් මෙල්බන් මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුවේ ගරු අනුශාසක ගෞරවනීය කැකිරාවේ බෝධිධම්ම ස්වාමින් වහන්සේත්, සිඩ්නි මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුවෙහි අනුශාසක අපගේ පින්වත් සෝම ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේත් ඇතුළු වැඩමවා වදාළ මහා සංඝරත්නය සිඩ්නි මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුව වෙනුවෙන් පාද නමස්කාර පූර්වකව පිළිගනු ලබනවා. ඒ වගේම මෙම අවස්ථාව සඳහා පැමිණි බෙලවර ආසනයේ නියෝජනය කරන ෆෙඩරල් MP ජූලියා ලීසා මැතිතුමාව සාදර ගෞරවයෙන් අසපුව වෙනුවෙන් පිළිගනු ලබනවා. ඒ වගේම මෙම අවස්ථාව සඳහා පැමිණි ස්ටේට් මෙම්බර් හොක්ස්බරි රොබින් ෆෙට්සන් මැතිණිය සාදර ගෞරවයෙන් අසපුව වෙනුවෙන් පිළිගනු ලබනවා. ඒ වගේම සිඩ්නි නුවර ශ්‍රී ලංකා කොන්සල් ජෙනරල් ලක්ෂ්මන් හුණුගල්ලේ මැතිතුමා ප්‍රදාන අපගේ ආරාධනය පිළිගෙන මෙම ස්ථානයට පැමිණි සියලුම සම්භාවනීය අමුත්තන් සිඩ්නි මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුව වෙනුවෙන් සාදර ගෞරවයෙන් පිළිගනු ලබනවා. එමෙන්න මෙම අවස්ථාව සඳහා පැමිණි අනිකුත් සියලු දෙනාත් දූ දරුවන් සියලු දෙනාත් සිඩ්නි මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුව වෙනුවෙන් සාදර ගෞරවයෙන් පිළිගනු ලබනවා. ඔබ සියලු දෙනාට තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
Thank you, Most Venerable Bodhidhamma Swamin Wahanse, for the merits of reciting the 5 precepts. Before we begin our speeches, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. We are gathered here today at the Sydney Mahameonava Buddhist Monastery for the opening ceremony of the security fence and the solar power system, the latter of which was built using federal government grants. On behalf of the Sydney Mahameonava Buddhist Monastery, we would like to welcome the President of the Mahameonava Overseas Branches and Chief Monk of the Melbourne Mahameonava Buddhist Monastery, the Most Venerable Bodhidhamma Swamin Vahanse. We would also like to welcome the Most Venerable Soma Swamin Vahanse, the Chief Monk of the Sydney Mahameonava Buddhist Monastery, and other venerable monks. We would like to welcome our other distinguished guests, including Mr. Julian Lesser, the Federal Member of Parliament for Barara, Ms. Robin Preston, State Member for Hawkesbury, and Mr. Lakshman Hulugalle, Consul General of Sri Lanka in Sydney. We also cordially welcome all other invited guests and visitors who have come to give their support for this event. Teruwan Saranai.
ඊළඟට යෙදී තිබෙන්නේ ධර්මානුශාසනාව සිදු කිරීම. ඒ සඳහා අපගේ පින්වත් බෝධිධම්ම ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේට පාද නමස්කාර පූර්වකව ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා.
Next, we will have a Dhamma talk by the Most Venerable Bodhidhamma Swamin Vahanse.
Namo Buddhaya. අපගේ ගුරු දේවෝත්තම පරම පූජනීය පින්වත් ලොකු ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේට අපගේ নমස්කාරය වේවා. මහා සංඝරත්නයේ නමස්කාරයි. ඕස්ට්‍රේලියානු රජයේ ආධාරයෙන් සිඩ්නි නුවර මහමෙවුනාව භාවනාසපුවේ ආරක්ෂිත වැට සහ ඒ විදුලි ආලෝකය ලබා ගැනීම පිණිස සෝලාර් පවර් සිස්ටම් එක ගෞතම බුදු සසුන උදෙසා පූජා කිරීමේ පුණ්‍ය මහෝත්සවයේදී අපි කවුරුත් මේ මොහොතේ සිහිපත් කරමු. විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ පින්කම ගැන අපි දන්නවා අපේ ජීවිතයට ආරක්ෂාවයි ආලෝකයයි තමයි උවමනා වෙන්නේ. මොකද ඒකට හේතුව අපි ඉපදී මෙරි මේ යන ගමන අනාරක්ෂිත දෙයක්. බුද්ධ ශාසනයක් මුණ ගැහුණාම අපිට ඒ සතර අපායන් නිදහස් වෙලා සුගතිය තුල රැකවරණීය ආරක්ෂාව ලබා ගන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අපි ඉපදෙමින් මැරෙමින් මේ සසර යන්නේ අවිද්‍යාව නැමැති ඝන අඳුරින් වැහිලා. ඉතින් බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ දේශනා කරේ අවිද්‍යාව කියන්නේ ඉරත් නැති සඳත් නැති වෙනත් ආලෝකිකුත් නැති යම් අඳුරක් තියෙනවා නම් ඊටත් වඩා අඳුරුයි කියලා අවිද්‍යාවෙන් යුක්ත කෙනාගේ සිත. ඒ නිසා මේ අවිද්‍යාවෙන් වැහිලා තණ්හාවෙන් බැඳිලා ඉපදෙමින් මැරෙමින් අනන්ත දුක් විඳමින් යන සසර ගමන අපිට නිමා කරලා සුගතියේ රැකවරණිය අමා මහ නිවනට ලබා ගන්න ලැබුණු උතුම් අවස්ථාවක් මේ මොහොත. ඉතින් අපි මේ ආරක්ෂිත වැට ඉදිකිරීම අපේ සෝම සාංශික අනුශාසනා පරිදි උපස්ථාන කමිටුවේ පින්තුන්ගේ සහභාගීත්වයෙන් ඕස්ට්‍රේලියානු රජයෙන් සිදු කරගත්ත ලොකු පින්කමක්. ඒ පින්කම අපි හැමදෙනාටම මේ ඉපදෙමින් මැරෙමින් යන සසර ගමනේදී සුගතියේ රැකවරණය පිණිස උපකාර වේවා කියලා අපේ හිතේ අදහසක් ඇති කරගනිමු. ඒ වගේම අපි අවිද්‍යාව නැමැති ඝන අඳුර දුරු කරගෙන විද්‍යාව නැමැති ආලෝකය උපදවා ගැනීම පිණිස මේ විදුලි හිරු එළියෙන් ආලෝකමත් කරන මේ සෝලාර් පවර් සිස්ටම් එක බුදුසසුනට පූජා කිරීමෙන් රැස් වෙන පින අපිට උපකාර වේවා කියලා හිතමු. ඒ වගේම පින්වත්නි බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේගේ ධර්මයේ සඳහන් වෙනවා ප්‍රඥාව තමයි අනුත්තර වූ ආලෝකය කියලා. අනුත්තර වූ ප්‍රභාස්වර බව කියලා. ඒ නිසා අපි මේ අද දවසේ සම්බන්ධ ලොකු පින්කමකට. ඒ පින්කමෙන් අපිට ඔබ දන්නවා චේතනාවම් භික්ඛවේ කම්මං වදාමි කියලා බුදුරජාණන් දේශනා කරා. චේතනාව තමයි කර්මය වෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම අපේ හිතේ අපි පිහිටව ගන්න මූලික අරමුණ අපි රැස් කරගන්න පින විසින් ඒ අරමුණ කරා ගෙනියනවා. ඒ නිසායි අපි සිහිපත් කළේ බුදුරජාණන්ගේ ධර්මයට අනුව මේ පින්කමට සම්බන්ධ වෙන අප හැම දෙනාම ඕසිරණෝ රජයේ ආධාරයෙන් ඒ ඉදිකිරීම සිදු කළත් මේ පින්කමට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න පුළුවන් උනේ අපිට. ඔබ දන්නේ තාසි රජතුමා කුමාර කාශ්‍යප මහරහතන් වහන්සේගෙන් ධර්මය අහලා පැහැදිලා එයාගේ ඉදපු භාණ්ඩාගාරයකට දානි පූජා කරන්න කිව්වා. ඊට පස්සේ රජතුමාගේ අණ ලැබුණේ හැබැයි මේ පින්කම කළේ සේවකයෙක්. අවසානයේ සේවකයා ඒ පිනේ විපාකයක් හැටියට ඉහළ දිව්‍ය ලෝකයකට යන්න පුළුවන්කම ලැබුණා. හැබැයි වියදම් කරපු ධනය වියදම් කරපු රජතුමාට කාන්තාර ප්‍රදේශයක සේරිස්සක කියලා බෝමාටු දෙවි කෙනෙක් වෙන්න තමයි ලැබුණේ. ඒ නිසා පින්වත්නි අපි වියදම් කළා හෝ නොකළා හෝ අපේ ධනෙ වියදම් වුණා හෝ නැතුව හෝ අපි යම් පිනක් අනුමෝදන් වෙනවද? ඒ අනුමෝදන් වීමත් කරපු පින හා සමානමයි. ඒ නිසා අපිට ලැබිච්ච දුර්ලභ වාසනාවක් මේ වගේ පින්කමකට සම්බන්ධ වීම. මම හිතන්නේ රජයේ ආධාර ලැබුණ නැත්නම් අපිට මේ වගේ අලංකාර විදිහට ආරක්ෂා සහිතව අසපුවේ ඉදිරිපිට ගේට්ටුවත් ඒ වගේම ආරක්ෂිත වැටත් ඉදි කරගන්න බොහෝ මහන්සි වෙන්න වේවි. ඒ වගේම මේ සෝලා සිස්ටම් එකක් හදාගන්න අවශ්‍යතාවය බොහෝ කල් තිබුණත් සමහරවිට අපිට ඒ හැකියාව බොහෝ දුරට කල් යන්න ඉඩ තිබුණා. නමුත් අපි වාසනාවකට විශේෂයෙන්ම ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේගේ කැපවීම මුල් වෙලා අපේ ඒ රාජ්‍ය නිලධාරීන්ගේ උපකාරයෙන් මේ පින්කම අපිට කරගන්න ලැබුණා. ඒ වගේම ආරක්ෂිත වැට වගේම අපි සිහිපත් කරමු ඒ ගේට්ටුව ద్వාරය බුදුරජාන් වහන්සේ දේශනා කරලා තියෙනවා සෝතාපන්න වුණ කෙනාට නමක් ඒ තමයි අමතස්ස ద్వාරා ආහච්ච තිට්ඨති කියලා. අමා නිවන නැමැති ద్వාරයට පැමිණුණා කියලා. ඒ වගේම තමයි අපි මේ සසර යනකොට අපිට නිවනේ දොර වැහිලා තියෙන්නේ. මේ පුණ්‍ය භූමිය කියලා කියන්නේ භාග්‍යතුන් වහන්සේ වැඩ සිටින ධර්මීය සංඝ රත්නයේ වැඩ සිටින අමා නිවන දන් දෙන තැනක්. මොකද ඒකට හේතුව බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ දේශනා කරා ධම්මදෝ හෝති අමතතෝ. ධර්මයේ ලබා දීම කියන්නේ අමෘතය ලබා දීම. මේ පිම්බිමට එන හැම කෙනෙකුටම බණ පදයක් හරි අහන්න ලැබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා මේ ద్వාරය අද දවසේ අපි ආරක්ෂිත වැටක් සමග ద్వාරයක් විවෘත කළා. ඒ ద్వාරයෙන් එන හැම කෙනාටම මොහොතකට හරි පිනක් රැස් වෙනවා. බණ පදයක් හරි අහන්න ලැබෙනවා. අමා නිවන තියෙන තැනකට ඒ හැම කෙනාම ඇතුල් වෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේ අපි මේ ద్వාරය විවෘත කරන පින්කමට සම්බන්ධ වෙමින් මේ රැස් කරගත්ත පින අපිට ඒ අමෘත ద్వාරයේ විවර කරගෙන අමා මහ නිවන පිණිසම උපකාර වේවා කියන අදහසක් ඇති කරගනිමු. ඉතින් මේ රැස් කරගත් සියලු පින ගුරු දේවයන් වහන්සේ ප්‍රදාන මහා සංඝරත්නයටත් අප සියලු දෙනාටත් සුවසේ කල්යාණ මිත්‍ර ඇසුර තුළ සත්පුරුෂ ඇසුර කර අසත්පුරුෂ ඇසුර කර නොවැටි සත්පුරුෂ ඇසුරෙම ආරක්ෂා රැකවරණය ඇතුව ප්‍රඥා ලෝකයෙන් ජීවිතේ බබළුවාගෙන අමා නිවනට ගමන් කර ගැනීම පිණිසම අප හැම දිනාටම වාසනාව උදා වෙත්වා. හැම දිනාටම තෙරුවන් සරණයි. නමෝ බුද්ධාය.
අප කෙරෙහි අනුකම්පාවෙන් ධර්මානුශාසනාව සිදු කළ අපගේ පින්වත් ස්වාමින් වහන්සේට පාද නමස්කාර පූර්වක පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා සිදු කර සිටිනවා. ඊළඟට සිඩ්නි මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුවේ උපස්ථාන කමිටුව වෙනුවෙන් සභාව අමතන ලෙසට කමිටු සමාජික රසිකද සිල්වා මහතාට ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා.
Thank you, Most Venerable Swamin Wahanse, for the merits of your Dhamma advice. On behalf of the Sydney Mahameonava Buddhist Monastery Committee, Mr. Rasika De Silva will now say a few words.
Namo Buddhaya. President of the Administrative Committee of the Mahamevunava Foreign Branches and the Chief Monk of the Mahamevunava Buddhist Monastery of Melbourne, Most Venerable Kakirave Bodhidhamma Thero, Chief Monk of the Mahamevunava Buddhist Monastery of Sydney, Venerable Soma Thero, the Maha Sangha attending this event, Federal Member for Berora, Mr. Julian Leeser, State Member for Hawkesbury, Ms. Robin Preston, Consul General of Sri Lanka in Sydney, Mr. Lakshman Hulugala, distinguished invited guests and dear friends. Today marks a special milestone as we declare the successful establishment of our new solar power system, security fence and gates. The oldest of these initiatives began a couple of years ago after Mr. Julian Leeser's first visit to the monastery, as it was his constructive advice and support that served as the basis for our application to the Safer Communities program. Fortunately, we were awarded a grant of $275,730 from the federal government, enabling us to fund the extensive safety project, and we are now beginning to see the results of. With the first phase of the project now reaching its conclusion, we set our sights on the remaining safety lighting and the CCTV camera installation projects, with an estimated completion of the 31st of March 2023. This isn't to say, however, that the projects were without difficulty. For example, during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, we experienced significant delays and increases in labor costs, as worker availability dwindled, making it increasingly difficult to complete the construction of the security fence and gates. Yet with the guidance and support from our monastery's chief monk, Venerable Soma Thero, in conjunction with assistance from our devotees, we successfully managed to overcome a number of challenges and still meet the project's expectations. Conversely, the solar power project was relatively straightforward and was once again aided by Mr. Julian Leeser, who assisted us in receiving a federal government grant of $5,000 under the Powering Communities program. This grant allowed us to finance a part of the total cost of this project. With its installation now completed, we expect to incur low electricity costs, thereby avoiding significant expenses in the future, which is especially important for a not-for-profit organization such as our own. In addition to these two key projects, the effectuation of several minor projects have been made possible solely due to the financial support provided to us by the state government. Such projects include the construction of retaining walls, rendering of the monastery's main building, and other minor works within the grounds of the monastery. We are extremely grateful for the continued support we receive from Ms. Robin Preston for our monastery. So what do these developments entail for the general community? In one way or another, they all contribute as mediums for achieving the goal of the founder and chief abbot of the Mahamevunava monastic order, the Most Venerable Kiribadgoda Jnanananda Pinwat Lokuswamin Wahanse, and that being to globally propagate the Supreme Buddha's teachings in their purest form and to produce a safe environment in which these practices can be actualized, with the intention of enabling the devotees to understand the true nature of life and to experience the ultimate happiness that comes with it. To better approach this goal, Mahamevunava Monastic Order has 71 monasteries based in Sri Lanka and around 33 branches overseas, 6 of which exist within Australia, specifically in Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, and Brisbane. Within this network of monasteries, there exists approximately 800 trained monks and 100 nuns with hundreds of thousands of lay devotees globally. In our monastery, devotees are able to attend services conducted through various daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly programs, including sermons, meditation programs, Sunday Dharma school, and prayer sessions. Further, the monastery also celebrates significant religious festivals, including Vesak, Poson, and the end of the rainy retreat, Katina, each attracting over 500 attendees. In addition to these key programs, the monks of the monastery, with the guidance of the chief monk, Venerable Somatero, also provide blessings to pregnant women, newborn babies, and the hospitalized elderly, as well as providing advice and counseling for couples, adults, families, and the youth, all for the betterment of the community. To help the children and the youth learn and converse in the native Sri Lankan language of Sinhala, and to allow a stronger connection with the language and culture of their ancestry, the monastery has also started a Sinhala language school for children aged between 5 to 15 years. The monastery is also actively engaged in regular volunteer-based social and public welfare programs organized both within Australia and overseas. These include participating in blood donation programs with the Australian Red Cross, holding yearly Clean-up Australia Day activities, providing donations to the disadvantaged, as well as providing clean water to rural Sri Lankan communities. However, with the arrival of COVID-19 and the lockdown we were in over the past few months, the vast majority of these events became impractical. As a solution, the venerable monks at the monastery conducted Dhamma teachings through Zoom and other online media, but even this brought significant issues in the lack of sustained internet connectivity. Thus, we are grateful for Mr. Julian Leese's firm pursuit in the correction of this long-standing obstacle in this area. Thus, to extend these existing programs and community services into the future, there are numerous requirements that need to be addressed on the monastery premises. Presently, the top priorities are the relocation of the Bodhi tree to a permanent location in the premises, building extensions to accommodate congregations at specific locations, and construction of more restroom facilities. The monastery still has a long way to go in maximizing its services to us here and to future generations. On behalf of the Management Committee of the Mahamevunava Buddhist Monastery of Sydney, I look forward to your continued support so that the monastery is able to continually improve and provide consistent and beneficial services to the community. May the Triple Gem bless you all. Namo Buddhaya.
සභාව ඇමතු රසිකද සිල්වා මහතාට අපි පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා සිදු කර සිටිනවා. මිළඟට අපි ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා බෙලවර ආසනයේ නියෝජනය කරන ෆෙඩරල් MP ජූලිය ලීස මැතිතුමාට සභාව අමතන ලෙසට.
Can I acknowledge the venerable monks, both the Chief Bhante of Australia and the Chief Bhante here and the other monks? Can I acknowledge my friend Robin Preston and the Consul General of Sri Lanka and my friend Rasika De Silva and everyone who is involved here at the Mamahavana Buddhist Monastery. This is one of the most serene places in my community. And one day in 2018, I was driving my staff around the electorate, giving them a sense of some of the unique places that make up my community. And we saw the flags along the road and decided to come down the driveway and see what was here. That began a friendship and a lovely relationship between myself and the monks and this community, which I value greatly. Every time I come here, I feel better for having experienced the Buddhist traditions that you engage in. I remember one Friday night in the pre-COVID days where we could all be here together, the chant that night was, "Let all the people in this world be free of conflict, be free of jealousy." And Robin Preston would agree with me, that's probably a very good idea as a message for parliamentarians, because our world is all about conflict and jealousy. So to take a step away from that and to reflect on higher things is a very important thing for me. I'm very honoured that the federal government has been able to provide funding under the Safer Communities program for the new security fence and the other improvements that you're going to undertake here, whether it's the CCTV cameras or the lighting. Not only have you provided security for this community, and as a member of a religious minority myself, I know how important it is to provide security for religious minorities, but you've also done it in a most beautiful way. That is not just a fence, it's a work of art, and the plinths that are there representing the lotus flowers make the entrance to this property beautiful and continue the serenity that is here more broadly. It is wonderful to be able to provide you as well funding of $5,000 towards the solar program here. People who live in this part of the world, the monks, will know how much sunlight we get here. Unfortunately, a bit like the day that we laid the foundation stones on the dining hall, it's not the sunniest day here today, but there'll be many more sunny days to come, and to take advantage of the sun to power this site, to be able to take the power from here and perhaps even plug it into the grid is a wonderful thing to do. And I'm very pleased to be able to encourage the activities that are here more broadly. And I will always support the Mamahavana community in all of the activities that they do here, and I'm very proud and honoured that in part of my community are people engaged in this tradition. I'm pleased that there's a tradition here founded in 1999 by the Venerable Kirabatgoda Nyanananda Thero, with its sole purpose to spread the original teachings of the Buddha. The monastery is always warm and welcoming here to myself, even my now 3-year-old, when he came here and was quite disruptive for the opening of the building, has always felt very welcome here. The tradition that you practice here, the Theravada Buddhist tradition, is the oldest Buddhist tradition in Australia and has been here for over 150 years, brought here by Sinhalese people who came here partly as cane cutters in the plantations in the 1870s. To see a century later that monasteries such as this are setting up all over Australia is a wonderful thing. Today, more than 500,000 Australians identify as Buddhists, and I suspect next year when we see the census, we will see that number grow, and that's a wonderful thing. Our country's prospered from the contribution of people from many different faiths and from many different lands. 60% of us acknowledge that we are part of a faith tradition. In my own faith tradition of Judaism, we have been here since the days of the First Fleet. For many people, religion provides an answer to the three important questions. Who am I? Why am I here? How then should I live? And your Theravada Buddhist tradition is a beautiful tradition that answers many of those questions. Over recent weeks in the Federal Parliament, and I suspect early into the new year, we will be debating the issue of religious discrimination. Our government strongly supports a religious discrimination bill because we realise that there are people of faith who are not free to practice their religion in the way that they would want to practice it in our modern Australia. Part of the reason for the religious discrimination bill is to complete the patchwork of discrimination law we have in Australia, but it's also to acknowledge that people of different faiths do from time to time suffer discrimination. I think 2 years ago, when the first exposure draft was being prepared, I spoke to Razika about some of the issues that this community has faced, and he mentioned to me at the time that some of the libraries, the public libraries, would not stock the holy teachings of Lord Buddha. And I think in a public library, in a diverse multicultural Australia, that's a bad thing. And we want to be able to encourage people to share their teachings and share their faith their faith communities. A recent study done by a group of interfaith leaders, including Buddhists, the economic impact of religion in society, found that those people that participate in a faith tradition contribute an extra 30.5 million hours of volunteering time and help bolster the broader Australian community. Unlike other protected attributes in discrimination law, religion is more than just about identity. It is about a philosophy of how to live. It is done in community, as we are doing here in community today, and we must protect people's rights to continue to do that, to continue to profit from the teachings of Lord Buddha. I wanted, finally, because Rosika asked me to just say something about telco. When I think of being free of conflict, I can't unfortunately think of telco, and I think of that particularly in my community. Areas like this, right across the community, suffer from not being able to make phone calls, not being able to stay in touch, not being able to broadcast services. And in 2021, telecommunications is an essential service Australians rely on. On a bad day, not being able to connect with our community, with our friends, with our family right across the world makes us upset and angry. But in a community like this, on a particularly bad day, it can be a matter of life and death. And that is why I, together with 18 colleagues, have put forward a private member's bill to address the shortcomings of telco, to ensure that we can make a mobile phone call from inside our homes and premises, to ensure that we can connect to the internet, to ensure that the customer service of the telecommunications companies improves and they don't take us as citizens for granted. And that's such an important thing, and I know how important it is for you here. Let me, in conclusion, congratulate everyone involved here in this beautiful monastery on the completion of these important assets. I stand here and marvel at the completion as well of the dining hall, and think only a couple of years ago we laid those first stones. The transformation of this site is something that you should all be incredibly proud of. And the transformation of this site is bolstered by the beautiful community that I know that surrounds and supports the work of the Bhantis and monks. I'd like to leave you with a quote from Lord Buddha. "Every morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most." I think today it's fair to say that we've done some really great things for this community. Thank you.
සභාව ඇමතු ෆෙඩරල් MP ජූලියල් ලීස මැතිතුමාට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා සිදු කර සිටිනවා. ඊළඟට අපි ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා ස්ටේට් මෙම්බර් හොක්ස්බරි රොබින් පෙට්සන් මැතිණියට සභාව අමතන ලෙසට.
Thank you, Mr. Julian Lesser, for your speech. It's really great to hear how your relationship with the Sydney Mahamoonava Buddhist Monastery has grown over the past few years, and we can't wait to see all the work that you're doing, not just with Telco, but with the Religious Discrimination Bill as well. Thank you very much. We'd now like to invite State Member for Hawkesbury, Ms. Robin Preston.
Good afternoon, everyone, and can I acknowledge and pay my respects to the most distinguished people that I stand before. It's an honour to be here with you this afternoon and to all of you as well. In 2019, I visited your premises here, and with Julian, we laid the foundations, which we were trying to see when we had a tour of the new dining room. And it was a wonderful event. It was a celebration for all of us. And as I sat here and listened to the improvements and the funding that the federal government had brought to the premises, with around $250,000, just a little bit over that, and what that can do for a community, and how you rely on the support of government and sponsorship and communities, it's so vital that we listen to you and what you need. And I think for me as a local member, it's important to come and see what you have done with the contributions and also what you need going forward. So I'm happy to be here later to have a walk around and see what else we can do from the state government level. We have community building partnership programs that are on offer every year, and as a state member, I have $400,000 to share amongst the community. So let's talk about that after we have this gathering here. I'd love to hear more about that. But today, who would have thought in 2019 when I was here with you that we would have experienced such tragedy, grief, fear and anxiety? We've had bushfires, and I know it was a dangerous and perilous place for you here. At the time, I was very worried that this area would be surrounded by bushfires. And we had the RFS volunteers and the SES and community members all caring for all of us at that time, and we continually acknowledge their support. And then Hawkesbury had floods. You're okay here, but in other parts of Hawkesbury, it was a devastating time for us. Just before the bushfires in 2019, in December, January, my personal home burnt to the ground in August of that year. So I had to go through that anxiety and that grief and that experience that possibly many of you had experienced as members in your community or in the past, or family members. So, and I think it's good that we as politicians don't just stand here before you and talk about the grief, that we live that fear and that anxiety at times as well, because we understand what all of you can experience as well. But here we are, again together, in an opportunity that brings us together to celebrate as one. And really the one thing that brings us together today for all of us is our faith, whatever that may be. Faith will get you through adversity. Faith will get you through the anxiety and the fear, the pandemic that we had. Look at us all, we're wearing masks now. On the 15th of December, I'd like to think we could put those in our pockets and walk around much freer. But who would have thought in 2019, when I visited the centre here, we would have had to go through what we have. And we've done it as a community, together. And our faith has kept us united and stronger. So let us go forward with our faith. Let us celebrate life together. Let us celebrate the good things that we're experiencing today. I'm honoured to be here. I want to come back again and celebrate with you more milestones. Thank you very much.
සභාවැමතු ස්ටේට් මෙම්බර් රොබින් ප්‍රෙට්සන් මැතිනියට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා සිදු කර සිටිනවා. ඊළඟට අපි ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා සිඩිනුවර ශ්‍රී ලංකා කොන්සුල් ජෙනරල් ලක්ෂ්මන් හුණුගල්ලේ මැතිතුමාට සභාව අමතන ලෙසට.
Thank you, Ms. Robin Preston. It's really lovely to hear how much faith you have in not just what we're doing, but with our ability to get over adversity. Thank you very much. We would now like to invite Mr. Lakshman Hulugalle, Consul General of Sri Lanka in Sydney, to come forward and share his thoughts.
Venerable Mahasangha, Honorable Julian Liz and Robin Preston, the state and federal MPs, invitees, and all other my Sri Lanka friends. It's a great occasion to participate today. Before I start my speech, on behalf of Sri Lanka government and the President of Sri Lanka, I would like to thank the Honorable MPs for gifting this valuable gift to this temple to make Sri Lanka and Australia more friendly. Australia and Sri Lanka had been throughout a friendly country. We have maintained a very close relationship. Next year, we are celebrating the 75th anniversary of Sri Lanka-Australia diplomatic relations. So at a time like this, these honorable MPs coming forward and helping our temple is a great occasion. And also, I would like to take this opportunity and thank the Honorable Mahasangha for coming all the way from Sri Lanka, about 12 to 13,000 kilometers away, and they have established a place where Sri Lankans can be very proud. When you walk into this place, you feel like you are in Sri Lanka. This is exactly what we looking for. Our culture, our religion is a history. We have the highest regard for Buddhism. Although Buddhism was started in India, Sri Lanka is the place where Buddhism is being carried out throughout. And they believe that Buddhism will remain in Sri Lanka. So now our own Mahasangha coming into a country like a Western country, and they have established Buddhism, and Buddhism will make more friends to our country. Today, Western people, Westerners, they have realized the value of Buddhism. They go and meditate. They become Buddhist. There are Buddhist priests in different nations. That shows how valuable Buddhism is for your life. Honestly, Buddhism is not a religion. It's a philosophy. There are no rules and regulations. Nobody is being forced to do anything in our religion. You are free to go through our religion. So we are always, my personal view is we always respect Mahasangha for carrying Buddhism for last 2,600 in our history. So this is a great occasion that this temple, last 14 years, it has been developed in such a big way, very proud. We have many temples in Sydney. I have visited, but I have something special for this temple. From the day I first came into this temple, I feel that I'm in Sri Lanka. So thank you very much for helping this temple and for our country. මේ අවස්ථාවේදී මම අපේ මහා සංඝරත්නයට සිංහලෙන් වචනයක් කතා කළ යුතුයි. ඔබ වහන්සේලා ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ සිට මේ ප්‍රදේශවලට පැමිණ මේ කරගෙන යන වැඩපිළිවෙල අපි තාමත්ම ආඩම්බර හිතන අපි තාමත්ම ගෞරවාන්විතව ඔබ වහන්සේට වැඳ නමස්කාර කරන්න කැමතියි. මොකද මේක තමයි සිංහල සංස්කෘතිය බුද්ධ ආගම ලෝකයට අරන් යන්න පුළුවන් මාර්ගය. අපි කාටවත් කරන්න බැරි වැඩ කොටසක් මහා සංඝරත්නයට කරන්න පුළුවන්. සමහර අවස්ථාවලදී මහා සංඝරත්නය විවේචනය කරන අවස්ථා තියෙනවා. එක්කනේ දෙන්නෙක් කරන දෙයට වැඩිය මහා සංඝරත්නය අද මුළු ලෝකයම දිනාගෙන ඉන්නවා. ඒක තමයි ශ්‍රී ලංකාවට තියෙන ආඩම්බරය.
Thank you very much. That brings us to the end of our speeches for now. Next, we will be participating in some loving kindness meditation. Loving kindness meditation is extremely valued and honoured in Buddhist teachings. With great respect, we would like to invite the most venerable Sangha Rakkhita Swamin Wahanse to guide us.
Venerable Mahasangha, Federal Member for Berora, Mr. Julian Leeser, State Member for Hawkesbury, Miss Robin Preston, Consul General of Sydney, Mr. Laxman Holugalla, invited guests and dear devotees, now we are going to spread loving and kindness all being in this world. First of all, please everybody close your eyes. Think like this. May I be free from anger. May I be free from ill will. May I be free from jealousy. May I be free from physical suffering. May I be free from mental suffering. May I live in peace, live happily. May I be free from anger. May I be free from ill will. May I be free from jealousy. May I be free from physical suffering. May I be free from mental suffering. May I live in peace, live happily. May I be free from anger. May I be free from ill will. May I be free from jealousy. May I be free from physical suffering. May I be free from mental suffering. May I live in peace, live happily. May all beings in this monastery be free from anger, be free from ill will, be free from jealousy, be free from physical suffering, be free from mental suffering. May they live in peace, live happily. May all beings in this suburb be free from anger, be free from ill will, be free from jealousy, Be free from physical suffering. Be free from mental suffering. May they live in peace, live happily. May all being in this city be free from anger, be free from ill will, be free from jealousy, be free from physical suffering. Be free from mental suffering. May they live in peace, live happily. May all being in this state be free from anger, be free from ill will, be free from jealousy, be free from physical suffering, be free from mental suffering. May they live in peace, live happily. May all being in this country be free from anger, be free from ill will, be free from jealousy, be free from physical suffering, live happily. May all being in this world be free from anger, be free from ill will, be free from jealousy, be free from physical suffering, be free from mental suffering. May they live in peace, live happily. May all being in this world be free from anger, be free from ill will, be free from jealousy, be free from physical suffering, be free from mental suffering. May they live in peace, live happily. All being in this world live in peace, live happily. All being in this world live in peace, live happily. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
අපගේ පින්වත් ස්වාමින් වහන්සේට පාද නමස්කාර පූර්වකව පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා සිදු කර සිටිනවා. මීළඟට පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා සිදු කිරීම සඳහා සිඩ්නි මහමෙවුනා භාවනා අසපුවේ අනුශාසක ගෞරවනීය අපගේ පින්වත් සෝම ස්වාමින් වහන්සේට පාද නමස්කාර පූර්වකව ආරාධනා කර සිටිනවා.
Thank you, Most Venerable Sangharakkhita Swamin Vahansa, for the merits of your guided loving kindness meditation. Now, with great respect, we would like to invite the chief monk of the Sydney Mahameunava Buddhist Monastery, Most Venerable Soma Swamin Vahansa, who will share merits.
Venerable Mahasangha, Federal Member for Berora, Mr. Julian Lisa, State Member for Hawkesbury, Ms. Robin Preston, Sri Lankan Consul General of Sydney, Mr. Lakshman Holagalle, invited guests and dear devotees. Before we begin, I would like to share how I first met with Mr. Julian Lisa. One day he arrived at the monastery and informed us that he was the federal MP of this area. At the end of our brief conversation, he gave me his business card and asked me to call him if the monastery needed any help or support. Since then, he has visited the monastery several times, becoming very friendly with the monks and taking part in a special event at the monastery. He has wholeheartedly supported the monks and devotees in many ways, from helping to improve the facilities and in increasing the safety of our monastery. He even delivered a speech in the federal parliament about our monastery and highlighted the services we provide to the community. As a monk, I am unable to provide you, Mr. Julian Lisa, with a physical gift to show our appreciation. However, one of the most valuable gifts I can bestow as a monk is an opportunity to practice loving kindness meditation. It was especially performed today as you expressed a liking for the loving and kindness meditation during a previous visit to the monastery. It goes without saying that we are extremely grateful for your support throughout the years. Today, we are here to celebrate the completion of two major projects, the safe fence and solar power system. Of the completion of the safety fence fulfills a great need. With many of the monastery devotees living over 20 minutes away, it ensures the monastery's premises and its inhabitants are well protected. The monastic code of conduct preached by the Gautama Buddha encourages the building fences around the monasteries to provide a safe space to practice the Dhamma. I hope that this will allow the monastery to be protected and preserved for not just our generation, but for those that come after. The second project is the newly completed solar power system of the monastery. This project was only possible due to a federal government grant supported by Mr. Julian Lisa and sponsorship by devotee Mr. Nilantha and Ms. Chandani. The Supreme Buddha taught us that when noble actions are done by our body, speech, and mind, we make good karma, which in turn leads to happiness. In comparison, bad action will lead to bad karma and suffering. Therefore, I want to take this opportunity to thank the people who contributed to the completion of these projects and share all the resulting merits and good karma. Let us share the merits with all heavenly beings. May they protect us all and help the propagation of the Dhamma. May they attain true happiness. Say sadhu. None of this would be possible without our great teacher, the most venerable Kiribajjora Jnanananda Pinnal Loku Swamin Wahanse. It is because of Loku Swamin Wahanse's Dhamma propagation, services, loving kindness, and compassion that all the monks here have received their ordination. He has given us the opportunity to engage in these wholesome projects and earn powerful merits. He has also given all of us the chance to listen to the Dhamma, practice giving and sharing, observe precepts and practice meditation. We humbly share all the merits with Pinnal Loku Swamin Wahanse. May Loku Swamin Wahanse live a long, healthy life and attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Say sadhu. We also want to share merits with the monks who resided at this monastery since its inception in 2007. These monks helped many lay devotees with compassion and kindness. We also share merits with the most venerable Bodhiswamin Wahanse and all monks who participated in today's wholesome event. May all of them attain Nibbana in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Say sadhu. We share merits and all the blessings with the federal member for Berora, Mr. Julian Lisa, who has always supported us and provided invaluable support for our federal government grant applications. We are very happy and grateful to share merits and blessings with his family members and his staff. May he have countless opportunities to bring happiness to many communities in the future. May he achieve success in his goals, live a long life, and have a good health. Say sadhu. We would also like to share merits and blessings with the state member for Hawkesbury, Miss Robin Preston, who has always supported us and encourages us to apply for state government grants. We also share merits with the Sri Lankan Consul General of Sydney, Mr. Lakshman Holugalli. We share merits and blessings with the accredited certifier, Mr. David Chako, and his staff of Broadline Consulting Private Limited. Our architects, Mr. Prasad Pereira of DP Design Studio, and architect Ms. Kamalani Gunathilika from Melbourne, and our survey, Mr. Sunil Lianagi of East West Survey Private Limited. We also share merits and blessings with Mr. Darren Peters and Mr. Indika Beratna, who completed the logos for both gates. We would also like to recognize the good karma gained by the management committee of the monastery, who dedicated their time and energy towards these projects. Other devotees also donated their time volunteering over many days and nights. May all of them rejoice in the great merits they have collected and enjoy a long life and good health. May this good karma help them to attain Nibbana. Say sadhu. We also share merits with Mr. Manjula Fernando and his friends and all others who were involved in preparing meals for you today. May they enjoy long life and good health. May this good karma help them to attain Nibbana. Say sadhu. We share merits with all guests, friends and devotees who participated in today's ceremony and helped to make it a success. Lastly, we would like to share merits with late Mr. Richard Lu, who passed away recently. He was present at the grand opening of the monastery shrine room in December 2020 and helped our monastery during the past. May he realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Say sadhu. May this powerful good karma help us all to realize the Four Noble Truths following the Gautama Buddha's teachings. May you be well and happy. Namo Buddhaya.
පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා සිදු කළ අපගේ පින්වත් ස්වාමින් වහන්සේට පාද නමස්කාර පූර්වක පුණ්‍යානුමෝදනා සිදු කර සිටිනවා.
Thank you, Most Venerable Soma Swamin Vahansa, for sharing the merits with everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.